Welcome back to Factorio SpaceX Extreme. Okay, so we have a number of things to deal with. First of all, if we take a look at power, let's just run up here. It's sitting around 21.2, 21.3 gigawatts even after I changed the advanced nuclear to 5. And if you have a look at the number of stacks we have, each of these was basically 1 gigawatt when it was normal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We should be getting in the order of 35 gigawatts from here. When it was 4, we should have had enough for 28 gigawatts. We shouldn't even need this one to supply the power. I think there may even be some sort of game bug around 21 gigawatts and providing any more than that. Although I have seen it jump up above that, it's sort of only been when other sources have come online, so maybe there's an upper limit of nuclear or something. But in any event, what I'm going to do, I don't really have time to deal with it, so I've come over to the Independent Steel 2, which we never brought online. I have ordered in a power switch, which I will request so I don't have to find the thing. I don't need 50, I need 1. That's better. Oh, and of course with the radar gone now, we are losing coverage. So the radar is going to have to move to somewhere that does have power, which will be up here. And let's just see if that has dropped the demand at all. And it wasn't using it, so it doesn't look like it's dropped it that much, unfortunately. And this does cost us UPS, which is my biggest concern with it. Seems to be coming back. This is dropping off. Not really sure what the story is there. 100, 100. Take that off. Where is the supply train? I wouldn't have thought it'd have trouble getting copper, but maybe it does. Well, it's not a big issue for me, that. We spent far too long getting that done. As long as we have enough power so that we're not losing UPS, that's my main thing. Now, what I need to do is stop you. Hopefully you're heading to where I want you to. Or at least I'm just going to pick a ride anyway. Until we're somewhere near oil. So go back to wherever you were heading. Where were you heading? Fuel ID 1. Okay. So we should at least get a lift to about here, which will help, and then we'll run down here. We will try and fix up plastic one way or another. Ooh, these are very, very close. I guess we can let it take us ID 1, where's that? No, it's straight down here. We can let it take us down this way. I certainly need to fix up these intersections as well, so there's still plenty to do. There's also some work to be done over here where this copper ore is pretty dead, and probably rerouting this one. All sorts of little tweaks that I believe are worth doing still. Whoops, we don't want to go there. It's heading off in the wrong direction. Let's head down here and over to the oil, where we can try and resolve our plastic crisis. Check power as we go by. No, once again, so as soon as it sort of gets up 21.3, it just doesn't like it. I've got tons and tons of uranium, that's not the issue. I've got like 5,000 of the fuel cells sitting around. None of the uranium things are out of fuel, although I will check that, but I don't believe that's the case. They're supplied with plenty, so it's just a bit of a mystery, really. It's definitely behaving in a way that is contrary to my expectations. It's possible we need to actually bump up oil. Let's just have a look. These ones could be going, so no, there's more capacity to process oil. What's this one? Cracking. That is depowered. I don't think there's enough to support it anyway. The problem with plastic is that we're just not processing enough. I've probably built these lines too long. You'll see in a moment exactly what I'm talking about. We come down here, and so what we've got is a barrel of petroleum that gets unloaded into this pipe, and it rushes along here, filling all of these, and it can't fill these ones, which are actually quite a lot of them. So what I have got is some speed modules. So at the moment this speed is 3.125. If we throw in some speed modules, speed is now only 5.625. But that's like a 60% improvement. How far does that get? Doesn't get all the way. It's getting to about this one. It's not really getting to this one at all. So obviously my plastic lines are too long, and that is the other thing we can do, is break them in half and put another one of these in. But before we do, let's do the easy part. Once we're done, that should have added about 60% to our plastic capability. I probably should have spent a little bit longer calculating out the fluid dynamics as well as I can to see if this was going to work, but clearly it's slightly inferior to what we need. So let's just see if our stats now, over 5 seconds we are getting over 100,000 plastic. That has made a huge difference. Probably things like petroleum. Well, let's have a look at barrels. Light is still non-existent. Crude has staged something of a recovery. Barrel and bar, that's good. We can actually see the plastic as well. Petroleum is starting to drop. Hopefully that will spike production, and maybe we'll get some larger quantities of light. I think light kicks off if petroleum is less than 3,000, which is why that's getting completely drained. Oh, I think that's what I set it to, at least. So we are still over 100,000. Over a minute, there is a significant excess of plastic over consumption. I guess the main thing is that processing units are well up from where they were, because that's the key thing that these, aside from modules, that's the key thing everything's using. 250k green, I'm just a little surprised that red is so low. I would expect that to kick up, but there could be other issues. I knew plastic was one of our key issues. I wonder if after about 21 gigawatts of nuclear, I mean, if it's something to do with nuclear that it just won't give you more than that, you might actually need to use alternate sources, or whether it's like a hard limit on the game that it just doesn't allow you to, you know, get more power, period, than about 21.3 in any sort of consistent manner. It just seems very odd. But I mean, we need like 4 or 5 gigawatts, and doing that with solar, for example, is a huge area of solar that you need to cover. So I might have to put up with it, and the reduction in performance in the factory, which you know how keen I am on my performance in the factory. So we have some more completions. Life support, astrometrics. We already had life supports. Astrometrics is completed. Command and fuel cells are not far behind. Protection fields are getting along at a reasonable clip now. Are we finally getting any plastic build-up? No. No, we are not, and petroleum barrels is biting the dust. So yeah, light is, as soon as light is being produced, it is getting cracked. Heavy will be jumping around because 3000 is sort of retained. How are our refineries doing? Do we need to finally lay down more refineries? Doesn't look like it. These ones aren't active yet. Why not? 480, you're full of heavy barrels. Maybe allowing heavy to go to 1000 barrels is a bad idea. Or 3000. Because it's storing it, which is blocking these things from processing. So I might reduce it significantly. In fact, down to say... I mean, the problem is if you don't get enough... We need the lube for other functions in the main base, right? So, like the engines that we need for the thrusters, they need lube. But let's just see. I can't remember exactly how I set up the controller here. It might be here. Greater than 3000. Let's make that greater than 500. Hopefully there is just one that affects the lot. We can probably tell if I go to a power diagram. Yes, that appears to be the case. So now we will be cracking... let me on map view, turn that off. Now we'll be cracking heavy until it drops off quite significantly. Which should in turn allow more of the refineries to kick off because they'll be called upon. We seem to have a whole row that's basically full on heavy, I'm guessing. Oh, they're up here, right? A whole row that's full on heavy, and that's stopping the refineries from going. So as soon as they start tapping those supplies, we'll have more refineries going, we'll get more of all the products online, and if we need to, we will build this out as well. In fact, it is looking a lot like we may need to. Do I have any of these things locally here? I think I might. Oil refineries. I've got another 40. So I could build out this plan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. I can do it 4 times. And in fact, that might be my best option, because if I look at barrels, even with all of that cracking, heavy's slowly dropping, petroleum and light are in the toilet, plastic is in the toilet. Okay, there is no choice here at all. We will grab a blueprint, and we will grab all of... Actually, that's not the one that I want to grab. The one I want to grab will be the one that has water supplied like this, which is basically, if I grab all of that, and we get rid of this stuff just here. Although, mind you, that should tile, so maybe I'll leave it, not worry about it too much. Where are we? Actually doing this in the map mode might be better. Okay, so those guys should go around about like so. One. Two. 3. 4. So that's built out oil to its original spec. We have changed when cracking takes place in the heavy, in the hopes that that will bring more. Yes, these refineries are starting to go online. We are building out down here. Actually, where are we standing? We need to get out of there before we get bowled over. Are we missing anything? We might need to order in some more stuff. Alright, let's do that. Let's, because I've still got a supply stop here, so we can resupply with all of these goodies that we appear to be missing. This is it right here, in fact. Yep. Do you have a valid... Oh, you wouldn't, but you... Just trying to see if... No, we broke it at this point. Okay, let us run green at least up to that point. And yes, it doesn't look like we are getting that copper being supplied, so that might be something that we leave behind. That's okay though. Let's get back to the supply outpost and see if I can order in the missing materials. Off. Now, what are the missing materials? We are missing, let's call it 270 pipe to grounds. Since it's jumping about, 140 normal pipe. What else? 104 speed modules. 76 beacons. Let's go for 50 medium poles. Let's go for, just to be on the safe side, a stack of 50 of them. I keep wanting to call them smart inserters, but they are stack inserters. 20 blue requester chests. Let's just do 20 assembly 3 machines. 5 of these guys. Let's just do 10. And for purples, let's just do 10 purples as well. Let's bring that in, see if that sorts out our issues. How's power? Power is still not really quite where we want it. How's production? Plastic has dropped off again. That's no good. Still at 10k processing units. What's that? 500,000 plates. Any new milestone? Not really. 700 copper. 134 million red circuits. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Fuel cells getting very close to complete. Let's have a look at the bar materials. Crude and heavy appear to be dropping. Lubricants fine, sulfuric acid's fine. Light oil and petroleum showing no signs of recovering. Plastic showing no signs of recovering just yet. Oh, that copper. I may have to go over to the where we ordered that copper and turn it off, because I can't do it from... That's not it. I can't do it from here, I don't think. No. Alright, I'll do that between episodes, and yeah, hopefully we'll keep an eye on this oil situation. Hopefully it will resolve. We do have a lot of other things in the base to do before this show is over. We're getting down to the big 4 hitters in terms of resources, so that will be an interesting and fun time. Looking forward to seeing you then. So thanks for joining me. Bye bye for now.